Hey everybody, it's Miss T from the Children's Library of the Plainfield Public Library. Thank you for stopping by for another story time. Today we're continuing our celebration of Indigenous Peoples Month. And here is a tale, Raven, a trickster tale from the Pacific Northwest, written by Gerald McDermott. Raven came. All the world was in darkness. The sky above was in darkness. The waters below were in darkness. Men and women lived in the dark and cold. Raven was sad for them. He said, I will search for light. Raven flew across valleys and across mountains. He flew along rivers and over lakes. There was darkness all around. Then he saw a bit of light from far away. He flew and came closer to the light. The light was at the edge of the water. The light came from the house of the Sky Chief, and it was shining. Raven perched high in a pine tree on the shore. Raven watched. He saw a beautiful young girl emerge from the shining house and go to the edge of the water. She was the Sky Chief's daughter. She knelt and drank some water from a woven basket. Raven changed himself into a pine needle. He flew down from the tree and floated on the water. When the girl drank again, she swallowed the pine needle. After a time, the girl gave birth to a child. The child was small and dark with shiny black hair and tiny black eyes. Who do you think that child was? It was Raven. Raven had been reborn as a boy child. The Sky Chief was delighted with his daughter's child. He called him grandchild. He played with the boy and carved toys for him. He invited the elders to come and see the curious, wonderful child. The elders gathered in the shining house with the Sky Chief and his daughter. They watched Ravenchild crawl around the floor of the lodge. He pretended to be playing, but all the time he was trying to find where the light was hidden. He saw a box in the corner of the lodge. The box was large. It was carved and painted with many colors. The box was bright, and it glowed. Ravenchild said, "Gaga." "What do you want?" asked his mother. Ravenchild said, "Gaga," and he started to cry. "What does the child want?" asked the elders. Ravenchild said, "Gaga," and he cried, and he cried, "My grandchild wants the box," said the Sky Chief. The young woman placed the box in front of Ravenchild. but he continued to cry. She took the lid off the box. Inside was a smaller box. She took the lid off of that box. Inside was a smaller box. His mother took the lid off of that box, and light poured out of it. Light flooded the room. Inside the box was a shiny ball blazing with light. What do you think that ball was? It was the sun. "Give him the ball," said the Sky Chief. His mother gave Ravenchild the ball. Ravenchild stopped crying, "Oh!" and he began to play with it. He rolled it around the floor of the lodge. "Caw, caw." Then he changed into a bird. "Ha, ha." Then he became Raven once more. "Caw, caw." Sky Chief, his daughter, and the elders looked on in amazement. Raven plucked up the ball of light in his beak, flew through the smoke hole of the lodge, and disappeared into the dark sky. Raven flew over the valleys and the mountains. He flew along the rivers and across the lakes. Raven flew through the sky high and stayed there. Raven then threw the sun high up in the sky, and it stayed there. This is how Raven stole the sun and gave it to all the people. And why do the people always feed Raven? To thank him for bringing them the light. And when we get to the last page of any story, we say, the end. And that, once again, was Raven, a trickster tale from the Pacific Northwest, written by Gerald McDermott. Now, the writer gave us a little bit of information about Raven. He says, across the coast of the Pacific Northwest, as far north as Alaska, where it's cold, right? Raven is the central character in most Native American myths and tales. A shapeshifter possessing magical powers, he is at once brave and cunning, greedy and gluttonous, meaning that he likes to eat all and have it all to himself. To this day, Raven is a central figure in the richly imagined tribal arts of the region. And this tale is told with variation throughout all the native groups of the Northwest coast. Within its dreamlike setting, Raven balances his heroism, well, being a hero, and trickery to bring a blessing to the people. So Raven can be our friend. Raven can play a joke on us, but ultimately, Raven wants to help us. So once again, the title of this tale was Raven, a trickster tale from the Pacific Northwest, written by Gerald McDermott. Thank you so much for coming out and listening to this story. And until we read together again, everybody, stay safe and so long for now.